Welcome to a new episode in our series Horary Astrology in the 21st century. And I have the privilege and pleasure to welcome Sue Ward again to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to you too, to my home. This is very strange, isn't it? Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And Sue Ward is, sort of a grand master, well, no, masteress. I don't know whether that
Mistress.
term a grand mistress of horary astrology. She is one of the very few people who were present when horary astrology was found again, sort of a renaissance of horary astrology in 1985, when Olivia Barclay and Clive Claven and other people were working hard to put together the original book of William Lilly with the title Christian Astrology. And in 1985, the very wonderful edition, very beautiful edition, which is no longer available to buy, the Regulus edition of William Lilly's Christian Astrology. And if we had a very nice talk with Sue Ward, you can find it on our channel, when she was talking about her biography and how she sees Lilly, and the title was How Lilly Found Me. You find it on YouTube. If you give in How Lilly Found Me, Sue Ward, you'll find the video, and on our homepage as well. So let's go back. Today we take the computer for support as always. So today we are talking about something different. We are talking about your special Horary course in the edition of 2021, and we will talk about Sue Ward and how her course came about and what content she is teaching and her sources for their teaching and the context of her course in the Horary teaching community. And I have this special subsite on astrotalk.vonabisv.de. And there's a link for the general information about Sue Ward, and there's a YouTube channel. And this YouTube channel is very interesting, and I recommend to go to that YouTube channel. And I also recommend the playlist I did on my channel for Sue Ward. There is a very interesting discussion she had about the considerations in Lilly's book. And then there is the video from last time, our conversation from last time. And there is a nice, interesting 47 minutes lecture. And then there's a very interesting workshop, part 1 and part 2, and other videos by Sue Ward. And what we are talking today is this, the traditional Horary course overview and syllabus. And that's on the homepage of Sue Ward. And you can find all the information there. And then the book. Here is the book. This is the book. I have it here. This is the book which Sue Ward published in this year. And she promised to publish a second book soon, Sue Ward's collected essays. So this book is a companion for the students of the course, and this book is additional reading material. Sue, let's talk about this second book. Is it true that it's still coming this year?
Yes. Should be. Where are we? We're just into November. No, there's. I think. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be before Christmas.
So I recommend the people to watch it closely to buy the second book to have the complete information. Now, let's get out of the computer. Now let's start with the 80s. When you became a student of Olivia Barclay, was that after the Regulus edition?
No, before. I think I can't remember exactly. I think I joined Olivia's course in 1983, something like that. She hadn't had the course for very long, and I'd also enrolled with the Faculty of Astrological Studies sort of at the same time.
Yes.
But I think it was about 83.
So you are one of the first students, basically.
One of the very early students. There were students before me, not many, but I can't remember who they were. But
I believe Susan Knight came after you.
Do you mean Sharon?
Sharon Knight. She came
Yes, she
after
did.
you.
Yes, yes.
And I believe Deborah Holding came really after you, because you have become the tutor of Deborah Holding when she was studying with Olivia Barclay. Is that correct?
For a while, yes, yes.
Okay, so then in 1990, Olivia Barclay publishes Horary Rediscovered, rather interesting book to read. And 2 to 3 years later, in 1993-94, you started your own teaching course in Horary Astrology.
Yes, that's
Tell
right.
us why you did that, because Olivia Barclay was still then offering her course. Why did you see a necessity to do your own thing?
Okay, because Olivia's course at that time was quite a mixed bag. I didn't know because I was green, but she was a student really of Ivy Goldstein Jacobson, and also she studied Barbara Waters as well as Lilly.
The Americans who were rather strange in interpreting the considerations of Lilly as strictures. You did talk about that with Chris Brennan, a very interesting talk you had there. And this mixed bag didn't satisfy you in 1993.
No, well, I found that I had understood that I was going to be studying William Lilly's work, and I was to a degree. And obviously that improved once the Regulus edition came out, Christian Astrology came out in 1985. But it obviously wasn't all of Lilly's work that was being taught. And I felt that it needed to be taught. And I still feel that.
So basically, you are saying, after having gotten knowledge of the real book of William Lilly, Christian Astrology, book 1, 2, and 3, and having read the whole thing, which you did in the late 80s, right? You realized that something strange had happened. Everybody thought Olivia Barclay was a true believer in Lilly, and in reality, she was taking stuff from America of today's times.
I mean, she was a fan. I mean, she really, what she did brought the work of Christian astrology to us all. I mean, without what she did, it wouldn't have happened. I mean, Geoffrey Cornelius also had a copy of Christian astrology. He was another owner. And they were his group of people were looking at the work as well. And so it wasn't only Olivia, but she was the one really who was promoting it. So without her, it wouldn't have become, I don't think, as popular as it has become. Without her, I wouldn't have found it at all.
Yes.
So
you're saying the legacy of Olivia Barclay is not so much that she created an Horary course, but the legacy of Olivia Barclay, which nobody can take from her and other people, is that they got together, they formed a project, re-editing in the original as a facsimile in a very nice binding, William Lilly Christian Astrology. And after you realize that you want to be a true believer, a true follower, a true acolyte, a true pupil of William Lilly himself, you had to part ways with Olivia Barclay because she was not 100% William Lilly. Is that correct interpretation?
More or less, yeah. I mean, it was a gradual process, and obviously I was fairly ignorant for quite a long time. But what I did know was that there was once I had book 1, the introduction, it became very clear that what I'd learned, not just from Olivia, but what I'd learned was quite a long way away from the tradition as he expressed it in Christian astrology. And I wanted to know that. I wanted to know if it was any good, if it was useful. And when I found that it was so reliable, as it is, I thought it was probably a good idea to make it available as best as I could to anyone who was interested. Yeah.
Would you agree with my assessment that Susan Ward is the person in the world who is 100% trying to give the public a true impression of what William Lilly was doing and thinking and teaching without any alteration? So you are a true William Lilly publisher and teacher.
Okay, I don't know about in the world, because I don't know everybody.
It's my assessment, yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. But yeah, I do try very hard to make sure.
Would you agree that in the community of horary astrology teachers, as far as you know them, that you are the one who is not interested in adding anything to Lilly, either the outer planets or new techniques? You are the one who is teaching the pure Lilly and nothing but William Lilly.
Yeah, up to and including Lilly's work. That's it. I draw a line after Lilly's work because it all falls apart after that historically. So yeah, how many people are doing it, I have no idea. I am not interested in anything other than up to that point. I've done the research on the new planets, so I know that their signification is dubious. There's no way they're going to be introduced. I don't know that no one has ever answered the question that the new planets have an astrological role. Nobody ever discussed it. That they're there, but then so are a lot of other things, but that doesn't mean to say they have astrological signification. So
okay,
for that reason, I would not include them.
In the last session with you, we did a long discussion about your book. You have published about this problem, and it's published in German as a book, and it's published as a PDF on your site. The people can watch the old video how they can get the information. Let's take a short look on the Olivia Barclay legacy. When she died in 2001, Barbara Dunn was sort of her heir. She inherited legally as a legal thing. She inherited the rights of Olivia Barclay's course, Quality Horary Practitioner. Is that right?
As far as I know, qualified horary practitioner.
Right.
Yeah. As far as I know, that is what happened. Yes.
And are you familiar with do you know anything about Barbara Dunn's work since 2001?
No, we had a conversation soon after Olivia died about the course. I can't really remember much about that. But other than that, no, I have no idea.
In that conversation, did you get the impression that Barbara Dunn sort of came back to Lilly more than Olivia Barclay herself and became a more true believer in Lilly? Would you say so?
Yeah, I can't recall. I know that Barbara was interested, as far as I recall, in making revisions, but
okay, getting rid of the American influence and going back to the true William Lilly as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, good. That's for the people to find out. Barbara Dunn has published her own book. I believe it's in 2009, Horary Astrology Re-Exam. Now we come back to Susan Ward's course, and this is the companion book for it. In 1993-94, you started with a course which was divided in basics element and advanced elements. That's now put together, I believe. When did the new course came into being? How can you tell us the process, how you developed this changing of your old course of the 90s and the 2000s? The new course is from this year, right?
Correct.
And in this new course, you had some considerations why you want to put things together. What was the idea of putting things together? Why did you do that? To instead of keeping the basics, without the tutoring, and then the advanced with the tutoring?
Yeah, I think it really was about breaking away from correspondence teaching to live online teaching. I think that was really what was guiding me. As far, you see, for me, everyone who joins my course has to do those early lessons. So it made sense to link them together and just make it one course. It simplified it. It's still modular, but it simplified it to a large degree for people. So we'll see.
And would you say on the internet we have these two workshops, workshop 1 and workshop 2? I didn't get that. Could you say that again?
I didn't speak. I'm not sure those workshops should be up there, actually.
Oh, they are. They are on the internet.
On my channel?
No, not on your channel. On the internet.
Yeah, see, someone's released those. They're not.
Oh, okay. So I can't ask the question I wanted to ask, because if it's not legal to have it, we can talk about it. So I'll try to phrase my question differently. I saw in these workshops that you did a Zoom conference with pupils, right? And that is the new approach. Instead of sending PDFs back and forth, you have a Zoom conference with your students from time to time. How often, and you're doing 20 lessons, the course is divided into 20 lessons, right?
Yes.
And in one lesson, let's say the first lesson deals with the planets, how many Zoom conferences are in the first lesson?
1.
So basically we are saying you have this new course. It's divided in 20 lessons, and for each student there is the possibility, who is doing the course at the same time, they have a Zoom conference for one lesson once in the lesson. Yeah. How many students do you have at the moment in your new approach?
About 20.
So when these 20 people have time and you announce the next Zoom conference will be next week, 18 hours on Thursday, they can jump in or not?
They're given a timetable. No, the timetable is set from the beginning.
For the whole course? For the whole course?
For the whole course. The course is, the duration of the course is 1 semester.
Well, how many months is that? Semester is a term which is ambivalent.
Oh, I'm sorry. It goes from sort of October to April, May.
So that's half a year, more or less.
More or less.
So we're talking about a half-year duration of your new course, and the title is Horary Astrology by Sue Ward, or what's the title?
It's the same as the book title.
Oh, it's Sue Ward's Traditional Horary Course. This is the title. Okay. Yes. That's the title. And if I would like to book it, how much would I have to pay for the whole course?
Oh, now you're asking. I don't know.
But it's not possible to book simple lessons. You have to book the whole thing.
No, you book modular.
I can. Modules, so basically, you are saying in the 20 lessons, there is lesson number, let's say, number 8. I could book the essential dignities separately. No.
They're in modules. So you have lessons 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, and so on.
Oh, so there's a middle approach. You don't have to book the whole course, but you can't book individual lessons, but you can book modules. And the first module would be the first 5 lessons.
Exactly.
And the next module would be
6 to 11, 6 to 10, sorry.
So basically five lessons per module.
Yeah, 5 lessons per module, yeah.
Okay, and if I'm interested in essential dignity, I would have to book the second module, and I would have to live with it that I have to learn significators, part and co-rulers, moon as co-significator, chart turning, planets in houses, special note in lesson 6. I would have to be content to learn lesson number 7, Oriental and Occidental, combustion under beams, Cassini, void of course, besiege, summary, supplementary, to get to the lesson I really want to know, which is lesson number 8, essential dignity. That would be the approach.
Or you can ask me for private tuition and I'll teach you about essential dignities privately. But
how much would that cost?
It's about £40 an hour.
So basically you are saying there are two possibilities. An interested student of Horary astrology could either book modular, the course, or book a private tutoring with you. The private tutoring would cost £40 per time hour, 60 minutes?
Yeah. Okay,
so so let's get this clear. There is a fee per module, not per course.
That's right.
What's the module price? Is it the same price for all modules?
Yes, yes it is. And what you didn't say and what needs to be said is that everyone has to do 1 to 5. Lessons 1 to 5.
Okay, that's a very important additional information. So the first 5 lessons are mandatory.
Yes.
And then somebody could book the first module, yes. Not the second, but the third. That would be possible.
They can have, as long as they do that first module. I'm not going to. You see, the thing is, these fundamentals, the foundation of astrology, are in those first 5 lessons. Okay, that's the foundation of astrology in total, not just horary. I don't want to get to lesson. Somebody picks up and says, "Oh, yes. I'm going to start at lesson 10, 11," yeah. And I've got to teach them that foundation from there. Okay. I don't want to do that.
And the reason is, if you look in the book, the foundational ground putting is planets, zodiac in 4 quarters of the year, the houses, the chart calculation, and lesson number 5, chart judgment. So that might be a wise idea that people should know that before they go on. So basically,
well, actually, that first 5 lessons, in my opinion, contains the whole of astrology. It's the most important that anyone, including me, will ever learn.
Would you say the whole of astrology in the sense of horary astrology, or the whole of astrology in all fields?
Astrology.
Okay,
astrology.
So basically nativity and election and mundane as well. So this is the basics everybody should know before he should diverse into horary or mundane or electoral or nativities and all these things. Okay, so the first module is mandatory. After that, somebody could go the path of private tutoring because he is interested in very specific lessons, £40 an hour. Let's say if I would be interested in lesson number 8, essential dignities, how many hours for the whole lessons would you necessarily be tutoring?
Well, I think in the first instance, you find out what they know, what the student actually knows.
Let's say I have no idea about dignities. Let's put it this way.
Well, I mean, you'd be talking about 2 hours, I would have thought.
2 to 3 hours. So
it depends on the person. You have to be flexible.
Yeah, quite all right. Okay, so we have a situation. The brand new Horary course of Sue Ward is offered in a very comfortable way. The only mandatory thing is the first 5 lessons. After that, you can continue with the course as it's in the book, starting with lesson number 6 up till lesson number 20, and you pay for 5 lessons. The price. What price was the module after the basics?
155 each module. £155 each module.
Okay, £150 for 4 modules altogether.
No, for 1 module, 5 lessons.
Yeah, but okay, 155 for 1 module, and it's altogether 4 modules coming up to 20 lessons, which would mean the whole course would cost 4 times 155.
Yeah.
So basically, we're talking about something around 600 plus pounds.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, but somewhere around in the neighborhood. That would be in euros, I don't know. In dollars, I don't know either. Anybody can calculate, let's say 600 and 700 pounds, and you calculate wherever you live on the
Well,
world.
it's £620 total. So you're talking about maybe 680 in euros.
Okay, good. 680 in euros, and that's something like 650 in dollars or something like that.
Like that, yeah.
Anyways, now your students, you have 20 students at the moment. How many students are just following the structure of the course, and how many students are doing the modular thing, leaving something out, not doing all the things?
Well, I don't know, because we've only just started, but as far as I know, I think probably the majority will go through, keep
for the whole course consecutively.
Yeah, because you can't, unless you do the whole course, you won't get a diploma.
Ah, that's very important. So the private tutoring and the deciding only doing part of it, you won't get the diploma. If you want the diploma, how is it called? Diploma of Sue Ward's, or is the title of the diploma Sue Ward's Traditional Horary Course?
No, the diploma is a diploma of Traditional Astrology.
And you have a signature Sue Ward, and that's it. Yes. And I could put it on the wall and start counseling clients. Okay, let me ask this. This is a very brand new service for the public to learn William Lilly's Horary Astrology, and it's a moderate price in comparison to other competitors of teaching Horary Astrology. What is your opinion after the diploma has been received? I passed the test. There's tests. You have tests, but in each module you have tests. I have to pass the test.
No. What happens is you are expected to provide at the end, as long as you have submitted. You don't have to submit your assignments, but it's a good idea if you want feedback.
Okay.
And at the end, by the end, you're expected to have produced 3 correct predictions. Verified.
Okay, so basically there is no final test.
Well, the final test is you've got to be able to predict.
Right, but you could have done this during the course.
It's possible. Depends. Yeah, depends on the person. It doesn't have to be left till the end. Yeah.
So basically, and the assignments, you are giving assignments in each module. How many assignments for the first 5 lessons?
Oh no, that's just occasional. Probably there were 4. We're just finishing. We're just coming up to the finish of the first module, so this is all very new.
4 to 5 assignments have been placed. Do you intend, because you are developing the whole thing with the students, if you develop the whole thing with the students in the second module, do you think 4 to 5 assignments is more or less the same what you intend to do?
Yes, about that, maybe less. It depends. It depends on what the subject is. It depends on where the problems might arise. It depends on the students. We can try to accommodate their needs as well as I have to be able to teach certain things, but they need to be able to learn. So I try to accommodate that process. It's not just a question of me talking all the time. I have to be able to listen as well. Okay,
so we have your book, this one.
Yeah.
This is the companion to the course. You will have the second book this year with additional reading. Is the second book mandatory?
No, it isn't. But it's a good idea to have it because there is a lot of extra information.
Yes. Okay. Is the first book mandatory?
Yes. Yes, it is, because that's where the course material is.
Yes. Okay. That's the course material. So assignments and the diploma is okay if the student has done 3 correct predictions. Now, do you take this correct prediction out of Lilly's book? So they delineate with an example from Lilly, or what? How do I have to visualize? How do you organize the assignment? Predict this question. It's an horary question, I suppose.
Well, there are 2 ways of doing it, actually. One way is as a horary question. These are their own charts. is not something I provide. And that should, by rights, make it easier because it is their own work. So it's either a horary question on which they are predicting or an event on which they are predicting. But either way, those predictions have to be verified.
When you say their own charts, do you mean their own nativity chart, their birth chart,
No.
or you mean you mean an horary question chart,
Or
wherever
an event.
they have the chart from?
Yes.
So
yes, it will be their own question, or someone has asked them a question, a horary question, I mean, or it's an event that they want to predict upon.
And this concrete personal chart, the outcome has not been arrived, because otherwise it wouldn't work.
Well, it wouldn't be a prediction otherwise, yeah.
Right. So basically, we have a course, we have modules, we have assignments, and out of the normal assignments, the student can choose when he wants to try with his first prediction. Can I say it like that?
Yes, I think you can. I mean, I wouldn't advise them to be doing that too soon. Obviously, they need more information, but yes, they can. Yeah.
Okay, if I am your student, I book the course, I'm in the end of the module 2, and I send you a chart and I make a prediction, and I'm wrong, which is probably the case because I'm only in module 2.
It's possible.
And then I send you the next chart in the 3rd module. Do I use up my number? And
okay. No, what happens is you get 4 free attempts. You get four free attempts to produce 3 predictions. Okay. If you don't get them, if that keeps falling off, I'm just going to ask you for money each time you present another.
Okay, what would be the 5th attempt cost?
£20.
So for in 4 cases it's for free. So I would be
included within the cost of the course. Yes.
I would be well advised to keep that to the end of the course.
Yes.
But in the end of the course, I try my 4 charts and I fail miserably because I didn't listen enough to what you were saying.
You didn't do your homework.
I didn't do my homework and my assignments properly, and I didn't read enough in the book, and I should have probably read William Lilly's Christian Astrology as well. And I fail miserably, but I can finish the course and then I have 3 shots. How many attempts do you allow? Can I go up to 100 attempts?
I think you would probably want to die before that time.
Okay.
You probably give up on life. So I think at some point, I mean, the point of the course and the assignments is to promote success. And nobody wants anybody to fail. But if you are coming to the end of the course and your assignments are not showing great, you're really struggling, and some people do, then maybe don't try just yet. Just wait. You don't have to do it within a specific period of time. You've got plenty of time. I don't want anybody to be disheartened or despairing. But the idea of the course is to teach people, or I should say, help people to learn how to predict using William Lilly's methods. So that's the whole point. It's not to get people to fail. That's not what it's about. And everyone makes mistakes, everyone. So I think, no, I mean, they can start to predict at any given time. Because obviously a verifiable prediction, they're not easy to find. I can't just have a friend saying to me, oh, yes, she got it right. It's absolutely, that was exact, like that is no good. I have to have it properly verified. So those take time.
I have on my channel the interview with Stephen Ellis Birchfield about my situation on the 2nd of November when I was talking with a German horary astrologer, Emil Schmidt. And in that talk, we tried to produce a question from me to him, me being the querent, he being the astrologer. And the question was, will Olaf Scholz become Chancellor of the Republic of Germany? And that's not clear at the moment. And he was predicting, and Stephen Ellis Birchfield with Whole Sign Houses was predicting. So basically, if somebody would come up with a question like that, you would accept it?
Yes, I would accept it if that was what they wanted to predict upon.
Yep.
But and this was something actually Olivia Barclay was quite strong about, where you have a straightforward yes or no answer.
Yes, that's the case in this case.
Right, then you need to have some support, because it's a 50-50 chance of your being right. Okay?
Yes.
So you have to be able to give other information, such as descriptions and so on. Something else. You can't just say yes or no. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, Alice Birchfield was doing this. You can watch it on the video in English. It's from yesterday. He was doing that with the ingress of Aries, the year ingress of Germany, and the quarterly and all that. So that would be additional description.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a horary, then you do have to be able to say, because you have a 50% chance of being right. For my purposes, for the course's purposes, you have to be able to give other information to show that you have actually followed a train of thought, astrological thought and logic.
What would be your best approach in additional description? What would you recommend for a yes/no answer?
Okay, well, it could be physical descriptions.
Okay.
It could be a description of the situation, say a broader perspective of the political situation.
Oh, so basically you are not talking about additional astrology techniques, but additional information about what is asked about in life.
Oh, yes, from the chart. Yes.
From the chart.
From the chart.
So you are delineating out of the chart something you can verify by the situation in the life, that he is finance minister at the time, that he is not the president of his party, and all that would be additional information.
Yeah, I mean, as well as that is going to be if the victory is narrow or
right.
really, a landslide, that kind of information. If there's some controversy about his winning or losing, whichever it is that you have predicted
yes.
upon. So that's extra information.
Okay, let's go to this.
Just say yes or no.
Let's go to this winning and losing. Let's take John Frawley, rather famous colleague of yours, a little bit later than you with Olivia Barclay. He was a contemporary with Sharon Knight in learning astrology in this course with this person I was talking about with Sharon Knight, I forgot the name. And she realized that he is also in Olivia Barclay's tutelage. And later on, he did, after a couple of years, he did predicting the outcome of soccer matches, of football. In English, it's football. Am I right? In England, you call soccer football, right? It's a football. It's a football match. Yeah, so it's Liverpool against Manchester, and he was in the booth of the TV journalist, and the journalist was posing the question: will Manchester win, or who will win? If that would be a student of yours sitting in that situation, watching a game and predicting the outcome before the game is ended, would you accept this as a prediction in your course?
Okay, I'm thinking, not on its own, there would have to be extra, because again, it's a 50-50 chance, isn't it? So there would have to be extra.
What could be the extras for a football match?
Well, was it a good win? Was it a narrow win? Again, was there any controversy?
Okay, is there suspense, or is it
on
clear
penalties?
Okay. Okay, I sort of understand what you mean. Not being a student of yours, it's difficult for me to grapple the whole thing.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, this football match. If you would be asked by the BBC to get a contract to predict the outcomes of football, would you accept?
No.
Why not?
It was easy, wouldn't it? No.
Why not? Because John Frawley did it rather
Oh
successfully.
well, yeah, but I think if you ask John, John also had his failures.
Yes, sure.
So, you know, and perhaps John has got a thicker skin than I've got. I couldn't face that.
Okay,
Just be so
coming back to the success rate. When you look back to the last 40 years of Horary astrology, practicing and learning and practicing, what would you say when you got these yes/no questions, okay, and you got them right?
You do get them, yes, you do, yes.
Erik van Sloten, the famous German Horary astrologer, and Emil Schmidt, his companion in that, and all of the same age, they are talking about 90-85% success. Is that normal for a good Horary astrologer?
Well, guessing, I'm thinking it probably, I wouldn't want a 15% failure rate.
Okay, you are more ambitious. You are more ambitious.
I am definitely more ambitious than that.
So
I wouldn't want that. I'm not saying you see, I don't sit there and I don't keep a spreadsheet of these things.
No, it's okay. But basically, you are saying, and this is rather important. Sue Ward, in the true 100% tradition of William Lilly, teaching William Lilly and nothing else, and teaching students how to predict properly and get it right. Your goal is that you yourself and your students should be close to 100%.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, that's important. That's important.
But I think also what needs to be said is that, perhaps again, is that the astrology is never wrong, but the astrologer can be.
Yes.
So you have that to contend with, you know,
yes.
A bad day, being influenced by the client. This is very common. It's one of the reasons why I won't take face-to-face clients. I don't want to be influenced by their desires. I want to know what they are, but I don't want to be
That is interesting. There you are deviating from William Lilly, because he had the clients sometimes personally.
All the time personally, but then he didn't have email.
Yeah, but he had letters. He had clients via letter as well.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, yeah. When he moved out of London, most of his horary work was done by
you are
letter.
saying in your practice, the decision not to see the clients is justified because nowadays we have email and telephone, and he didn't have
Well, it's
that.
justified because I would be influenced by them, and I know that because of my experience. Lilly was not so influenced, as far as we can tell. And there's a kind of different context there as well. I mean, I don't know anybody at all who would be doing the numbers of client charts in
12 charts a day, I believe.
It could be sometimes, but more often than not, it was kind of 4 or 5. But I mean, you name me an astrologer now who gets that number of clients in a day.
Yes.
I mean, it just doesn't exist.
Yes.
So it was a different context, a different social context too. I prefer not to run the risk of being influenced by the client. So I like the detachment that letter or email or however you do it gives me. I mean, I will discuss it with them on FaceTime or Skype or whatever. But no, in that initial instance, while I'm making the judgment, I want that detachment. And that is my shortcoming. So I'm not saying everybody works like this or everyone has that difficulty, but I do. And I would rather do my very best for the client by keeping my feelings out of it. It's important. And the other thing is, of course, and a very important thing, is that after training, good training, your intuition develops. because this isn't just any old subject. You're not learning French or German or something here. This is something else. So your kind of synapses are getting trained to respond at certain times to certain stimuli. And that also, if you're not careful, can lead you astray. So I had to, in the early days, and this was one of the reasons for setting up the course originally, was I had to relearn astrology right from the beginning. And I had to make sure, because I'd had successes with a rather not very good astrology, in my view, I'm not just talking about Olivia's work now, all that I'd learned, I'd had really good successes, but I was fairly certain, pretty sure that it wasn't from the astrology. So I had to strip that out. I had to make sure that my intuition was kept out of the way until it was properly trained. So I was very, very strict with myself with how I learnt that time.
This reminds me of my talk with Dr. Lee Lehman and about her book, Martial Arts of Horary. And she was basically saying, it's on the subpage with Lee Lehman, she calls it a sartorial goal, satori in the sense of Zen Buddhism, where the goal of the sitting is to get satori, enlightenment in Zen. And basically you are saying the same thing with other words. It's a long process of training, getting new synapses in the brain, which you call intuition, which Lee Lehman calls Satori experience. And he was talking about 10,000 tries to predict, 10,000 things to do in astrology before you get to that goal. Would you go that far, that you need 10,000 charts to come to that goal?
No, because it depends on the person. Because some people will be tuned in much earlier. Some people will be much more strict and rigid and rigorous with their training. It depends on the person. And
what's your experience with your students? Most students more on Lee Lehman's side, or do you have a lot of gifted, intuitive, clairvoyant part, sort of something? Are your students on a fast track to get this important factor of intuitional astrology, or are you having normal students who need the training?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a mixture. There are those who, you might say are gifted. There are those people like me who have to work at it and work quite hard at it. And that's the secret of the universe, of course, hard work. So there are those, but the idea of a good astrological training is that it does, and it should, help you with your intuition. So it brings in that extra sense, and it works when you want it to, not just when it thinks it will, if you see what I mean. It becomes more reliable. Yeah, I'm not saying that's the same for everybody. And yes, it does take a while. It's not something that generally happens overnight. It takes a long time, but it does happen, and it varies from person to person.
When I was talking with Stephen Ellis Birchfield the other day, we were talking about the duration of time somebody has to invest into studying before offering services to the public and taking money for it, for example, horary astrology. And we were sort of discussing 10 years of learning, like a profession normally does. A lawyer's education takes about 8 to 10 years. A doctor's, if somebody becomes a doctor in medicine, it takes about 8 to 10 years, and so on, psychologists and other people of the liberal professions. Would you agree with Stephen Ellis Birchfield that for this process, it's not enough to have this half-year course with Sue Ward, but to practice and learning and for long, and to come to a point that after 10 years, you're ready for the public? What's your aim? When are your when should your students start to offering services to the public? After they have the diploma, a half year, should they start right off to try out, or should they restrict themselves for no money just to train with friends and relatives and people who understand that there are still a pupil, an apprentice in astrology? The journal of John Frawley was called Astrology Apprentice. How long is the apprenticeship, in your opinion, should be at least?
Okay. Well, obviously, no one has any control over what students do or when they decide they're ready. Generally speaking, the controlling factor is, when are you ready to take responsibility for your answers? And when you take money, that's it. That's a responsibility. So if you think you are ready to do that, and some do, then it is your responsibility. I try to instill this idea of responsibility just gradually through the work. Let people grow and develop and mature through the work, but it has to be individual. It has to be an individual choice. There's nothing I can do about it. If someone is intent on, let's say, becoming a professional, and they're doing so in the very early days, their very early days, then the chances are they're going to be badly disappointed. And a number of people have found that. But if you are prepared, if you think you are good enough to take money for doing this, then what can I say? Personally, I prefer it to be later rather than sooner, because you do need to mature. You do need to grow into this subject. You do need to understand your responsibilities, not just to your client, but to the art itself. You have a duty to present it at its best, not just how you think it should be. And that's my argument always with astrological teaching, is it's not my opinion that is important. It is the expert's opinion. And we have hundreds of thousands of experts these days. Yeah. You've only got to do a quick Google and you'll see how many experts there are. And I think what worries me more than people going out and charging money for work, astrological work, too soon, what worries me more is that people go into teaching astrology too soon. That is more of a concern. There is more bad astrology taught these days than good. That's an absolute, it's just by numbers, you can see that.
Okay.
By numbers.
If you look back, your first course started in 1993-94. That is approximately 30 years of teaching, right?
Yes.
And we were talking about the number of students you had who passed your exams. We're talking about something like 100 something students.
Hundreds, I don't know.
But let's take the number 50 to 100. If you look back to those students, in your experience, how they developed and whether they went into the business of being a professional astrologer or not, if somebody did, what was your impression? What was a good time difference from passing your course and starting professional against money? Was the good average at least 5 years or more?
I'm not sure that any of them, I only know really one or two that decided they wanted to take it up professionally. That didn't last very long because they realized it kind of, you have to be really careful when you do it. If you are dependent upon astrological earnings for your living, you run the risk of taking money, as an expression in this country, which is money for old rope.
Okay.
you do tend to run the risk of taking money for anything. Right.
Okay.
So that I think, because I try to instill a sense of the divine, that responsibility that we have. Most of my students wouldn't consider themselves to be professional astrologers in the sense that we tend to talk about it, which is dependent upon that, doing it full time, depending on astrology for their income, completely.
Okay.
I don't know many. There are very few people.
That's okay. Let's go back to your course. We have the book, the companion to the course. We have the second book with additional essays. Is there a mandatory reading in the course of the book of William Lilly, Christian Astrology? Do they have to read the whole Lilly?
Well, I'd like them to, but I think that's probably asking too much. But certainly, books 1 and 2 need to be. Book 1 definitely needs to be addressed, certainly very early on, because that's the bit that everybody thinks they know. So that's the bit where all the mistakes are made. And that is the bit that needs concentration, because that's what you're going to be relying on for the rest of your astrological career.
Yes.
You need to know that one. The horary section, the horary book takes longer, needs more careful consideration.
Yes.
But yes, it does need to be done.
Now I'm coming to my next question, which is availability of the Christian Astrology by William Lilly. In Germany, we have a translation into German by William Lilly. Oh, it's not there. Okay. Sometimes I have problems knowing my own homepage. Let's do it differently. I go to Astronova. In Germany, we have a publisher, Astronova, in Tübingen.
Oh yes.
It's run by Reinhard Stiele, who is the publisher of our guest today. Susan Ward's book is published at Astronova, and
I don't think it is any longer.
Oh, it's still in print. Your book is still in print.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's still available. We can look it up. Okay, Susan Ward, and Susan. Oh, let me. What did I do wrong here? Oh, okay. I get it. I have to do Sue Ward. There it is, and there is your publisher is still publishing the fundament. Oh, okay. It's still available, but we are looking for the William Lilly, which is published in German since the 2000s. And there you have it, book 1 and 2, book 3. Now coming to my question. The Regulus Award is out of print, right? The Regulus edition. It's no longer available. The American edition seems to be complicated to get. Where is William Lilly's Christian Astrology in English published today?
Oh, I can't tell you. I thought it was reasonably freely available by the various retypes.
Okay, let's check this out, because we have the computer and we can check it out. It's very easy nowadays with these Zoom conferences. We go to Amazon. And for the purpose of this thing, we go to Amazon.com, which is the American Amazon, which is the largest one, right? It's headquarters there. And we give in William Lilly, Christian Astrology. Let's see what is available. Okay, this is the American thing. Oh, it seems to be possible to buy this for $25. So this is still available via Amazon. So we don't have the problem at the moment. Okay, but this could be a problem because this publisher is no longer really living, is he?
Oh, I don't. Oh, right. Okay. Was that Dave Roll?
I don't know. But my question is anybody in the English-speaking astrological horary community realizing that there might come a problem if this is out of print? You know,
I don't. Well, not so far as I know. I don't know. I don't have that conversation. I
would you
think
would you would you would you publish William Lilly if it's no longer available in English anywhere in the world? Being that your purpose to.
Well, I'd have to. I mean, if my students absolutely have to have it. But I have to say that the
You
original.
might have to do what Clive Claven had done, publish William Lilly again.
Mm, mm.
Well, not as
Oh,
expensive as he did.
But he did a really good job with that, didn't he? I
you
mean,
wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it in print in his garage. You would do it print on demand, so you don't have the logistic problem.
That's true. But first of all, you need to have the text. Although most, as far as I'm aware, most of the retyped versions are based on Carol Wigger's original.
Okay.
She did the work.
Okay.
So most of them have used that. They kind of OCR'd it or whatever they did. So presumably you could do that again.
Okay. So basically you are saying your students in your course starting this year with the first module and getting to the second module soon, William Lilly is mandatory reading.
Yes, absolutely.
What else? Is in the book of William Lilly himself, there is a bibliography with 228 titles.
Yes.
Do the students have to read one of those books as well?
Yes. There's also required reading of Ptolemy, Tetrabiblos.
Okay.
And Manilius.
Okay. The whole Manilius?
Manilius.
The whole thing? The whole Manilius?
I don't have to read the whole thing. No.
Okay.
Same with Tetrabiblos. You don't have to read the whole thing, but that's guided reading.
Guided reading by you. You give recommendation, read chapter 5, chapter 15, chapter 20. Okay.
Exactly.
That is Ptolemy, that is Manilius. Okay. What else?
There are going to be references to Dario.
Oh, Dario is in your course as mandatory reading.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to have it because I tend to, and not Manilius. I always forget his name. Dorotheus, that's another one.
Dorotheus of Sidon. Okay. I'm doing some research, as you know, about the original text of Dorotheus of Sidon. The viewers can view this on my homepage. Now let's get clear about Dario. What is your impression, being one of the very few experts of what William Lilly was doing and reading and studying? You went to the Bodleian Library and studied his work papers, I believe, when you did this book with Peter Stockinger about William Lilly, the magician. What is your impression? In the bibliography, Dario is mentioned by William Lilly. Would you say he was heavily relying on Dario when he was doing his own book?
No, I think he was heavily reliant on people like Bonatti.
Oh, okay. You think he was more Bonatti pupil then? Okay.
Cardanus,
yeah. Giordano Cardanus in Milan, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and there were others. I mean, if you read his preface to Christian Astrology, he actually runs through the authors he was most reliant upon in the various sections of the book.
Okay.
And yeah, Bonatti would be one, because obviously, and Cardano, because he produced Anima Astrologiae, which was a collation of some of their work, some of their works.
I think what we realize here, talking with you, the viewers, and me being the representative for the viewers asking the questions, would you agree that your course is a rather demanding enterprise for the student?
Yes, it is. But there's no easy way of learning astrology. It's not easy. And anyone who says it is not telling the truth. It's a difficult subject to learn. And it's also, because we've spoken about the responsibility inherent in astrology, it is really beholden upon that person, on the student, to do whatever they can to learn it properly and to invest their time and commitment into it. You're not going to get very far without doing that. You know, I was sort of brought up in the astrology of the 80s, really. And there were things like the only way to learn astrology, the ABC of astrology, step by step is, I mean, it makes it sound so straightforward. And in some ways it is, but so often it isn't. And you have to have a very thorough grounding so that you can be flexible. And that's where people find the difficulty, is in flexibility. They either throw the rule book out of the window or get very frightened and hold on to the rules too tightly. Yeah.
That leads to my question about the development since 1992 with the project Hindsight, and especially a very important figure in this translation business of old texts. Nowadays, in 2021, you can buy up to 15 books from Benjamin Dykes, I believe, if I didn't count them. And he is translating originals like Zal, Ibn Bishar, Mashallah. He is translating Abu Mashar. He is translating a lot of things of the Arabic astrology, and he is translating Dorotheus of Sidon. Now, a student in your course, doing your course, reading the mandatory reading you are asking to read, he goes into the internet, which is natural, okay? He Googles Horary astrology, and he is confronted with the situation that what he learns with Sue Ward is William Lilly, and that is very important and very good to get a solid grounding in Horary astrology on the basis presented in 1647 by William Lilly.
Yeah.
And then he is in the situation I am, not being a student of your course, but I'm in the situation that I have behind me, I have 5 books by Shlomo Seler, only Ibn Ezra. I borrowed it from the library because it costs alone 1,300 euros to buy those books. Then I have the Abu Mashar Great Introduction by Charles Burnett and Yamamoto from 2018, which is behind me, borrowed by the library. And that is a lot of books. Obviously, you can't do this mandatory reading. My question is it an advantage for your student till the end and passing the diploma not to read those books? Would you say leave them for later, stick to William Lilly because you get confused?
Okay, I would be more worried if they were reading more modern material.
That's not modern material, that's very old material.
I know what you're saying. What I'm saying is I would be more worried if they were reading about confusion, if they were reading modern material. If they wanted to read that medieval material, then they're going to find it kind of repeated in Christian astrology because that was his tradition.
That is true, but one of the great advantages of William Lilly and his work, putting aside the fact that he was a very good practicing astrologer, and he had very good results in what he was doing. But one of the big advantages of William Lilly was the task of translating the old texts into the English of the 17th century. Well, I agree that the English of the 17th century, even if you read it in a modern edition, is not so easy reading for us 2021 people. But reading the Great Introduction to Astrology by Abu Mashar, or reading Ibn Ezra, or reading Zal ibn Bishar, that is a complete different story in easiness of reading. It's not easy to read, and it's and it might be confusing reading it.
It depends on the person. I mean, usually, as you've implied, there's quite a lot of reading for students to do in a quite short period of time.
Yes.
And if they want to go reading elsewhere, then do. But don't go forward, go back. Because when you go forward, the astrology becomes incomprehensible compared to what you are learning.
Okay.
Right.
Let me put a question to you. Let's presume I'm a student of yours in the middle of the 4th module, let's say. So I have already some knowledge about the basics, and I grab onto the edition of Shlomo Sela book of questions with Ibn Ezra, okay, which is the same subject. Obviously, you are not teaching that book in your course, right? If that student, being me, would ask you for private tutelage, for private tutoring, £20 an hour, and let's assume I had a certain book in mind, I want to get tutored by Sue Ward, and let's assume you know the book and have read the book. Would you accept a private contract for talking about a special book of the olds?
Yeah.
Oh, you would?
If I knew it, because I have
no, if you knew, the presumption is you have the book in your library, you have read it, you know what is in the book. So the students have the opportunity to go much further than the course for private tutoring, paying the amount of money for the hour, £20. So would you offering, let's say, 20 sessions for 2 hours for £20 per hour to
40.
read the whole book together?
40 pounds per hour. Do you mind?
So would you I didn't want to discount your prices. Okay, let's put it this way. If I would be interested in being a student of your course, and I would buy hours, £40 for 2 hours, and I would book 15 sessions, and I wanted you to read with me the whole book, would you do that?
I think so, if I had the time, yeah.
Okay, so your students have a very interesting opportunity. Would you offer this service to people outside your student body, for people not taking your course, just wanting to read a special old book you know and have in your library? You would offer that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's never happened, but I mean, I don't.
It might happen after this interview.
You never know. As long as they don't think it's £20 an hour, that's fine.
Oh, it's 40 hours for 2 hours. So basically, the audience of this video, if you are interested to do something which might be interesting, to have a mentor, a guru like Sue Ward, to read together page by page through one of those translations of Benjamin Dykes, and she has it in her library, and she has read this text, she would be offering the service, right?
Yeah, because it's not different. I mean, there are additions with what you might call the Arabic period, of course, but it's completely transparent. If you have studied William Lilly, he has studied most of those authors. So
with one exception, with one very important exception, I realized doing my research on Sahl ibn Bishr, I realized that Sahl ibn Bishr called Sahel in the Latin translations. Is he in the bibliography, Sahel?
Yes, Sahel.
Sahel is there. Okay, so Lilly did know Sahl ibn Bishr, because Sahl ibn Bishr in the translated version of his name of Sahel was translated very much into Latin, and he was printed in 1493 in Latin. So this author of the Arabics is a very important input, and there's a new edition out there by Benjamin Dykes from 2019 about his work of Sahl ibn Bishr. Okay, now let's change the subject. I think we have covered what you offer with the course, what the course is about. What I want to do is read out the lesson subjects. So lesson number 1 is the planets, lesson number 2 is the zodiac and the 4 quarters of the year, lesson number 3 the houses, lesson number 4 chart calculation, lesson number 5 chart judgment, lesson number 6 with significations and other subtitles, lesson number 7 the same, Occident and Orient, combustion, void of course, and so then the lesson 8 is essential dignity, lesson number 9 is a lot of chapters, I won't read them out. Lesson number 10 is part of fortune, lesson number 11 with sub-chapters. So fixed stars is there, locations, the angles, the first house, and up till to the first house, 7th house, 10th house, and 4th house are special lectures and lessons. So let's change the subject. That's the course of Sue Ward. Did I represent your course correctly?
Yes, I think so. I think you did. It's very difficult for me to think about it in those terms. It's been such a long time. But yes, it is. It very much is. I'm trying to think of the launch, the little talk I did for the launch, and I really am trying to present Lilly's tradition as he presented it to me. That's really what I'm trying to do, is to offer that to others, because I believe, well, I know that system, that method is effective.
Okay.
So it's not completely foolproof. Obviously, he wanted to revise Christian astrology and never did. I wish he had. So I'm now reliant upon his other works, his other texts.
For the viewers, there is some false information, some fake news around. The edition of 1659 is not from William Lilly. It's a private copy, which was not authorized by Lilly. So the only book we have is the original of 1647. So let's change subject and go back to our first interview in the spring of this year. You were thinking about doing a master thesis at the University of East Anglia. How about that? Is it still on the table?
No, no. It was going to be, but I have got so many projects on my desk. One of them was supposed to be the dissertation, actually, but I'm continuing that outside. I just can't see how I'm going to be able to do it. I
okay.
Just
no.
can't.
So same thing with me. I didn't pass the exam for the PhD in Hanover because I failed with non-readers. But the book is available on the market, Astrologie und Recht. Okay. Projects other than your course you were talking about, what projects are those? Do you want to talk about those?
Not in too much detail, no.
Okay.
But it's more published work.
Are you doing more? By the way, these books you're publishing, is that with a publisher and you have a logistic, you store them in the garage, or is it book on demand?
I think it's on demand.
Oh, very good.
I don't know.
So you listen to my advice to do everything on book on demand.
I did remember that.
Very good. Now let's again change the subject. I'm curious, you being you, with your experience in the Lilly tradition, do you have friends, astrological friends, who can converse with you on your level of knowledge? Do you have sort of a William Lilly secret circle?
Not particularly, but yes, there are one or two that I can talk astrology to.
So you're not alone in the desert?
Not entirely, no.
Okay.
And I brushed off the cobwebs especially for you today.
Okay. Okay. If you, that's my final question for today, because we are limited in the time today. My final question is, you know the astrological community, you know the Astrological Lodge in London, you know the faculty, you know the work of the Center for Psychological Astrology in London, Liz Green and people like that. You know some people in the American scenery. You even know some people from Germany, where you did this lecture in Fulda. If you look at
that was a great weekend, by the way.
Yeah, you said that last time.
Yeah.
If you look at the scenery, and we are restricting it to the Horary astrological community, which is a subset of the astrological community, how do you see the Horary community in the world, or if you don't want to talk about the world, in Great Britain especially?
I don't know. I mean, Horary, well, let's say, first of all, let's start with the tradition. Traditional astrology has become kind of common currency, in that anyone who seems to be teaching astrology is taking bits of the tradition and mixing it into whatever it is they're doing.
Most of them write on their shingle Hellenistic astrology nowadays.
Yeah, or whatever it is. And yeah, so with Horary, it's a similar thing. I think an awful lot say they do horary. What that actually means, I don't really know. It's not for me to ask, but I don't know. So I think that because of the internet, that if you Google astrology, you'll get millions of hits, literally millions. If you Google astrologer, millions.
Yes.
I think traditional astrology is quite healthy. Those who are actually practicing traditional astrology, they are traditional astrologers rather than putting bits of traditional astrology into what they do. I think it's quite healthy. In conversations with Chris Brennan, I think he was quite shocked that when we were first starting, we were pariahs in the astrological community. That is no longer the case,
yes,
of course. So people have a healthier regard for it. How it's doing, I have no idea. There are just too many people out there doing astrology to keep up with what individuals are doing. And so it used to be much easier, of course, but not now. I don't know. So I think that traditional astrology has become firmly embedded in what you might call the astrological corpus, and within that, of course, horary. I still think people think that horary is a different thing entirely. It's a different kind of. It isn't. It's just a different perspective. So I don't think. Yeah, I'm not sure how much has changed in that regard, but yeah, I think the tradition is fairly well established. But then you've got to have, because you have really respected scholars. You've mentioned some of them already. Sela,
Charles Burnett in London, still alive.
Elena Avila,
Elena Avila, unfortunately deceased, and Luis Ribera. And Luis is thinking about a second edition of the Heavenly Spheres. And then we have the books by Chris Brennan and Demetra George and all these people. Let me go to another question. I have a favorite in the internet if I want to give myself some pleasure in learning something about traditional astrology. I go to the Astrology podcast of Chris Brennan, 2 to 3 hours, a special subject, very good, well done, and technically much better than my own channel is. He has technicians who make sure that the thing is very well done. Do you have a favorite internet YouTube channel you go to? Or don't have the time to do that?
I don't have the time. I'm also not good at just sitting and listening.
Oh, okay.
That was one of my problems when I was studying at university. So no, I don't have a favorite channel. I'm watching more now than I did before, but not that much more.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was also part of what I was trying to do in the early days, was step away from being influenced by other people and concentrate on one thing at a time. And I'm still of that mind. I don't want to be influenced.
If you think back to when you started your own Horary course in 1993, 94, that is around the time the project Hindsight started in America. And then Robert Zoller came onto the scene, and Robert Schmidt and Robert Hand. Did you have a personal relationship to these three people? Robert Zoller, Robert Schmidt, Robert Hand?
Zoller, I did, yes. Hand, no. Schmidt, I never met or spoke to.
Okay, what is your relationship to Robert Zoller?
Well, we were. He came and spoke near to where I lived.
Okay.
So he came to mine and we spoke. I gave him tea and cake and what have you, and we were both interested in occultism, so we had that in common as well.
Okay.
I was interested to hear what he had to say, because obviously if you like, medieval astrology was brand spanking new, and Hellenistic even newer. So I was interested in what he had to say, because he was very much a Bonatti scholar.
Yes.
So yeah, so we became quite friendly for a time, I have to say. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So for the viewers, I have the right to publish this interview with the famous Sue Ward and her new course unedited and uncut. Sue Ward has the right to take whatever she likes and produce something new with it. She has a total copyright to do with the footage what she wants to do, which is easy to download from YouTube nowadays via the VLC media player, which I learned yesterday, that you can download videos from YouTube via the VLC media player. So that is the copyright declaration. Did I miss anything? Should I ask something else?
No, I think you've been quite comprehensive.
Okay.
So no, I think we've covered. I mean, mainly it was about the course, and I think we
covered. But that was the idea today. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
because I think the idea is okay to say, so many people don't know what's happening in that course. And since you didn't do this, what we did today, I thought it might be an idea for me.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So thanks, Sue Ward in England. And thanks to our viewers. Thank you for stopping by. Danke fürs Vorbeischauen und auf bald. And I stop the recording.